Get ready for a wild ride as we count down the craziest and most bizarre scores in NFL history. From unexpected blowouts to nail-biting finishes, these games have left fans in disbelief and players in awe. Let's dive into the most mind-boggling scores that have made NFL history. Number 10. Arizona Cardinals vs. Green Bay Packers, 2010, 51-45. The 2010 NFC wildcard game between the Arizona Cardinals and Green Bay Packers is widely remembered for its stunning scoreline of 51-45, which is highly unusual in NFL history. This offensive showdown had both teams scoring relentlessly, with back-and-forth touchdowns, keeping fans on the edge of their seats. Arizona quarterback Kurt Warner threw for an astonishing 379 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers answered with 423 yards and 4 touchdowns. The game-winning play added to the bizarre nature of the score. In overtime, Rodgers was stripped of the ball, and Arizona's Carlos Dansby scooped it up and ran it back for a touchdown. It's rare for both teams to surpass 45 points in a playoff game, and the thrilling finish made the scoreline one for the ages. Number 9. Miami Dolphins vs. New York Jets, 1986, 51-45. In one of the strangest shootouts of the 1980s, the Miami Dolphins and New York Jets faced off in a game that ended with an unusual 51-45 score following a game full of explosive plays. Miami quarterback Dan Marino and Jets quarterback Ken O'Brien traded touchdown passes throughout the game, with each team showing impressive offensive firepower. Marino threw 6 touchdowns, and O'Brien wasn't far behind with 4. This game remains one of the few in NFL history to reach such a high score without either team having a strong defensive stand. Fans still remember it as a historic AFC East rivalry matchup that showcased a rare combination of high scores and marathon action on the field. Number 8. Chicago Bears vs. Washington, 1933, 73-0. The 1933 NFL championship game between the Chicago Bears and Washington remains one of the most shocking scores in NFL history, with Chicago routing Washington 73-0. In an era when teams rarely scored more than a few touchdowns in a game, the Bears' ability to rack up 73 points without allowing a single point from Washington was unheard of. Led by Hall of Fame quarterback Sid Luckman, the Bears dominated in every aspect of the game. They scored touchdowns on offense, defense, and special teams, completely overwhelming Washington. This blowout victory is remembered as one of the NFL's most lopsided games and is a testament to the dominant style of early football. Number 7. Buffalo Bills vs. Houston Oilers, 1993, 41-38, overtime. Known as the comeback, this game saw the Buffalo Bills pull off the largest comeback in NFL playoff history, rallying from a 32-point deficit to defeat the Houston Oilers 41-38 in overtime. Houston had built a commanding 35-3 lead in the third quarter, but Buffalo's backup quarterback Frank Reich led an astounding turnaround. Buffalo scored 5 consecutive touchdowns to send the game to overtime, where they ultimately clinched victory with a field goal. This scoreline was bizarre not only for its dramatic shift, but also for the historic nature of the comeback itself, as no team had ever overcome such a deficit in the playoffs before. The 41-38 final is a score that fans will never forget. Number 6. New Orleans Saints vs. Indianapolis Colts, 2011, 62-7. The 2011 showdown between the New Orleans Saints and the Indianapolis Colts ended in a stunning and nearly unprecedented score of 62-7, one of the most lopsided regular season games in NFL history. Drew Brees and the Saints offense shredded the Colts defense, scoring at will, while the Colts struggled without their star quarterback Peyton Manning, who was out with an injury. The Saints offense scored 8 touchdowns and a field goal, while the Colts could barely muster 1 score. This final score was bizarre and memorable for its sheer dominance, and it became one of the defining games of the Saints' high-powered 2011 season. Number 5. Cincinnati Bengals vs. Cleveland Browns, 2004, 58-48. In this 2004 game between AFC North rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns combined for a mind-blowing 106 points, ending in a 58-48 Bengals victory. Bengals quarterback Carson Palmer and Browns quarterback Kelly Holcomb threw for a combined 837 yards and 9 touchdowns, turning this division matchup into an all-out aerial battle. The game included explosive plays with long touchdown passes, kick returns, and even a few defensive touchdowns thrown in. Fans were stunned as the scoreboard kept lighting up, and the wild 58-48 scoreline remains one of the most entertaining and bizarre games in NFL history. Number 4. Seattle Seahawks vs. Arizona Cardinals, 2016, 6-6, overtime tie. Both teams struggled offensively, missing multiple field goals, and neither could find the end zone for a touchdown. Instead, all points came from a series of field goals and a lot of missed opportunities. The game's bizarre ending added to the frustration as both teams attempted game-winning field goals in overtime but failed to convert. It's rare to see a game end with such a minimal score in the high-stakes NFL, and this 6-6 tie remains a strange and unforgettable result for both fans and players. Number 3. San Francisco 49ers vs. Detroit Lions, 1995, 41-38. Both teams had prolific offenses that year, with 49ers legend Steve Young facing off against Lions quarterback Scott Mitchell. The back-and-forth scoring made for a nail-biter, with the Lions staging an impressive comeback to keep the game close until the final whistle. What made this scoreline so crazy was the sheer amount of offense, over 1,000 yards combined, and the way both defenses seemed powerless to stop it. Fans who witnessed it still remember the high-octane performances on both sides, and it stands as a classic in 49ers and Lions history. Number 2. Denver Broncos vs. Seattle Seahawks, 2013 Super Bowl 48, 43-8. The 2013 Super Bowl 48 between the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks was supposed to be a clash of titans. It was one of the most lopsided Super Bowls in NFL history, and a scoreline no one saw coming. The game started with a botched snap that resulted in a safety for Seattle, and things only went downhill for Denver from there. Seattle's defense, the unexpected 43-8 score, was a shocking outcome for a game that had promised so much, and it left fans and analysts reeling as Seattle secured their first Super Bowl title. Number 1. New England Patriots vs. Indianapolis Colts, 2014, 45-7, AFC Championship. In the 2014 AFC Championship game, the New England Patriots dominated the Indianapolis Colts with a jaw-dropping 45-7 scoreline. The Patriots' performance was stellar, with quarterback Tom Brady leading a relentless offensive assault, while the defense smothered the Colts' attempts at a comeback. The scandal that surfaced afterward suggested the Patriots may have used deflated footballs to gain an advantage, adding an even stranger twist to the already unusual blowout. The 45-7 score and ensuing controversy put this game in the history books as one of the NFL's most bizarre championship games. Thanks for joining us on this thrilling journey through the craziest NFL scores. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting sports content. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which score had you on the edge of your seat? Until next time, stay passionate and keep loving the game.